Hello world, my name is Baher and this is my CS50X final project, BML. Today I will be going through the project more in depth, so I'll be going through the code and then going to test the website and explaining the functionalities. So I will start by app.py. I'm using Flask for the main structure of the code, and then we have some helper functions that I have made in another .py file. So it's the apology returns some kind of, it just renders template in case if there is any error, and then login required. This one helps me indicate whether the user had logged in or not, which can prevent him from going through some specific pages. And I have some other versions: verified user required, user email required, those for the password reset, pre-login password reset, to prevent users from accessing those pages unless they answer the verification questions. So I'm just going through the code fastly. So the verification questions can be put in here. Anyone can add more questions, because I'm using Jinja in the templates for loop, so it's it doesn't matter whether if we add more questions or delete some of them. So I created search database which uses basic syntax of SQLite, but this one only searches one item. So you can only specify one item, and because I used it a lot through the code, I created a specific function, but I did use some another selections which used more specifications. And then we have register, which asks the user for their information to register. I will just mention that I don't trust client side in this project, so I do check all the input in the code side, or in the backend side. So an example, if we go to the registration template that we have here, okay, so you can see that I'm asking the user for a specific length and for a specific email pattern, but I don't really use these. It's just to help user navigate through the website. So in helpers example, you can see that I do have a validate email function that uses regular expressions, which by the way has specific domain that should be used. So basically it does not trust the client side. That's what I wanted to say. And then we have the in the templates, we do have, I did use Jinja layouts to help me type less code or less HTML. So in example, we do have the main layout, and then I did use another layout, which was inbox layout, because I did use similar structure to the inbox in several places. So I will mention just one problem that I faced, and before that I will go through the database structure. Okay, so this is the database that I used. Basically, the users has to enter their name, email, hash, question, answer from the registration page, and then in the after login, in the compose, they can type the email information, and then when they send the email, this connection is made between the users and the message details, and if there's any responses, the responses are saved in the responses table, which is a relation between any table, any email, and then the parent ID, which is the email has been responded to. So the problem that I had was, if two users send the same identical email at the same time with same content, same subject, and same times, same date, the program will crash because it won't be able to identify which email had been sent by who. So I did catch that error by try except to prevent that from happening, and I did create an index, unique index on all these details. Just let me go through the through this one, which is this index. It just had the subject, content, date, and time. So to make sure that no identical emails that have been sent in the same time goes through the database, otherwise it will raise an error. And I used that trick to catch the error, and then just return an apology message to the user to try to send their email later, an example. Okay, since we're in the database, I did use some indices to to make the queries faster. I did like make indices only for the operations used most to like try to save as much space as possible. Okay, so I think that's all for the coding part. I will now go to the website and show you how it works and going more in details in the website too. Okay, so this is our main page. I will start by registering a new user. Let's say user2 at email, and then the email at bmail.hive, and then just password and password confirmation, and then the school, let's say Harvard. Okay, so now as long as the confirmation is the same as the password and if there exists no email in the same with the same username, it will be added to the database with no problems. So now let's say the user forgot their password and want to reset it. So they will have to type their email. Let's say they typed something wrong. Email.hive. They will get an apology message saying that it's not in the database, and if they try to enter wrong input, same thing will happen, but like different apology message. So let's just say they entered the correct one, email.hive, and then they answered the question correctly. Then they can reset their username, obviously. I will change it to this. Okay, so now would they be able to access the reset from here? Like if they do that, it will be a bug, and then yeah, it would be a problem. But if they try to do that, so it will just redirect them to the verify, which is the requires verification stuff that we talked about. And same thing is used with the main page, so they can't access the index page unless they are logged in. So like an example, let's just do that. So yeah, they can't access the main page unless they are logged in. So I'm using the same concept when resetting the password in the like before login or pre-login reset. So yeah, that works like that. And then let's just enter the information login, email.hive, and then the new user password. Okay, so we will be entered to this main page right now. We have the profile. We can change the name, and then the verification info. Let's just an example, change the name, user22. Okay, so now it changed. And then we can reset the password by like typing the current password and then new password and confirmation. And then we can access new mails, new responses, and inbox. So all these three have the same layout, which is the layout I mentioned. It was like inbox layout. So you can see that they are all similar, like just the title is different and the type of messages selected from the database is different. And then we have the sent, which is different than those layouts since it has more information about the message and then recipient instead of the sender. And then we have the compose. So for example, let's just send an email for another email that I had created before. So Bahir at bmail.hive, and then let's just type the name of the email. So test email, and then hello world. Okay, send. So now you can access this email from send. So after sending from compose, it does automatically redirect you to send messages, and then you can see them. You can see whether if the user had responded from responses, and if they do so, you can respond to their responses, and that's just like a recursive thing. So you can respond forever, let's say. And then we have the subject. If you click on it, you can just like access the view, which changes the status of the email. If the email had, okay, I'll just talk more about that from let's just log into my account now. Email.hive. Hopefully I didn't forget the password. Okay, it worked fine. So we have one new mail, which is the one I sent from user1. So now we can see it, user2 at email.hive, and then primary, which means it's not a reply to anything, and then status new. So since the status is new, we can see that from the inbox too. So it is new because we didn't view the subject yet. So let's just go back to the new mails. So after viewing this, the status will be read and it will be deleted from the new mails. So now when we viewed the email, the status is now changed. So we have the parent as a primary since it is not a reply to anything, as we have mentioned. And then all the other informations about the email, the content is here, and then the subject. Yeah. So now it should be deleted, which is what happened. Now we can just access it from the inbox. So we do have it, but the status has changed. And the status has changed in the other side. Like if I log into the user to abemail.hive, I will see that the status is now seen. The message is seen. Okay, and this is done by specifying the status of the of each message as 0 default, and then changing it to 1 when they view. When they click view, I change the status to 1, which indicates that the email had been read it. Okay, so now let's just go to the sent messages an example. Okay, so we have David 2 as a reply. Now let's see the responses. So we have these responses from David. So before doing that, I just want to see the subject itself. So it says hello world 2 is the parent mail. And this mail's content is hope you liked my project. So let's just see the parent mail. So the parent mail is from David to me, to Bahir. And then the content is this was CS50, hello world 2. So we can access this message from the inbox, but the type would be primary. It's not a response. Okay, so now let's just go to the response sent from me. Okay, so the sender is Bahir and then recipient is David. So the subject is response to David 2. Hope you liked my project. So this is a response to his email, which says this is CS50. Okay, now, so if we go now to the sent messages and then see the responses on that email that I had showed you guys, which was I hope you liked my project, we see a response from David, which is new. Status is new, so I have reviewed it before, which is the one that was mentioned in the B mail because it says like one mail and then one response. So this is the response they're speaking about. So I can respond to that email too, but let's just see the email itself. So it was great. That's David answer to my email, which was I hope you like my project. So we can access the email I hope you like my project from response to David too, which is the parent email. So this is it. Hope you like my project. And then this was a reply to this was CS50, and then we can access that from here, which is the main email, which is primary. So no more responses. So I think that finishes the main idea of the response. So now we can actually send a response to the response. Yeah, by responding from here. And then like, so he said it was great. And then I'll just like reply to David. Thank you. Okay, so let's just see. So now it's a sent message to David, the subject, and then unseen. So David had not seen the had not read the email yet, but we can see that this one is seen in example. So David had seen the email. It's the same logic as read and new. And now like the let's just see the email. So the subject is thank you, and then if we access the parent mail would be the project is great. It was great, and then hope you like my project, and then this was CS50. So it just goes recursively. So now no new responses since I did read the response. And then we can see the inbox all read, and then the sent is all. The responses are to like all read, so nothing to show. So it says no new emails and no new responses, which makes sense. I'm a bit confused after talking for 10 minutes. Finally, this was CS50.